So it's brave of them to take a stand for something, especially when it comes to the life of their school,
right?
And say, look, we don't need a celebrity. We're going to do this on our own. He hurt whatever our opinions were about the subject, and now we're going to follow through with it. So I don't agree with canceling, but I also kind of admire them for actually following through with it for once, and going like, look, we'll do this ourselves.
Yeah. Here's a step. Bring them down and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Of the differences.
And that's a great answer. Yeah.
Instead of cutting it off altogether, he wants to help.
Right.
And he has a view and opinion of the transgender community. Now, if you watch the special, he had a really good story that changed his appeal.
Oh, yeah.
With a friend of his that he took under his wing and helped out.
Yeah.
Who passed away. So she was transgendered, and he had no idea when he first met her.
And that was a hard hitting moment too in that special. Like it went from comedy to like serious. You could hear a rat pissing on cotton in that room.
Yeah, I mean, I like got chills and everything during that part of the special. But, I don't. Again, it's comedy. It's meant to be funny. Laugh if you want. If you don't want to laugh, then that's fine too, because you have every right not to agree with what Chapelle says.
Yeah,
I think
I'm not a major fan of his.
Yeah,
but
we've talked about it on the show. When we had our guest on, Mason, and we talked about and he even voiced this, that you don't have to agree or understand it to be respectful. And I don't think that in what he said, that was just his understanding of the topic or how he feels about it. But I don't. If he like was going out of his way to like
mock it,
yes, or something, that would be a whole nother story. But just voicing your opinion on it, I don't know. But I do second I do second you and Dan both your opinions. One, bring him down, talk to him, find out more about his opinion,
communication,
further that avenue of possibility.
That's
of
a great
doing
answer.
Yeah. But I also like what you said, in at least they have the moral standard that they're not going to be bought out with money. This is what they believe in the school. This is how they feel. They're not going to support that message, and doesn't matter how much money you're offering us. We're going to stand by our beliefs. And I think that that's a very solid stance for them.
It's brave.
It's a big loss for them. I think that they could go Dan's route and open up more conversation and benefit those children, benefit themselves. But we're so quick to just cancel people out. That's what the cancel culture is. Nothing changes. Nothing adapts from it. So,
and I'm kind of like you. I don't think anything he said was that derogatory or over the line. As somebody who has plenty of transgender friends, we talked about Mason, obviously, but I have a few others. If I felt like it was, getting to be that bad, I certainly wouldn't watch the rest of the special. I would probably stop right there. And I'm not so much of the cancel culture, but I would go, this is kind of tasteless to me, and I just don't want to watch it anymore.
And I don't think it was that at all.
No, I don't either.
I think it was the complete opposite. I think he put that special on just to clarify, because he's gotten drugged through the mud before on his stance with transgenders. And I think this new special was just to like
show the change.
Yeah, this is where we're at. This is where I'm at, and I'm done with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought it was an interesting story.
It's Dave Chapelle standard.
Yeah,
the dude's always a hot topic. He voices how he feels. Again, it's comedy in a lot of the aspect. Don't take everything so seriously. Par for the course, though. Don't turn on a Chapelle special if you're easily offended.
I agree. People have opinions. I guess the moral of this story is to just respect others' opinions. Yeah. And we all have to coexist as one people on this planet. So when it comes to it, people aren't always going to have the same views you do, but you respect it and you keep walking. That's the way it goes. Other news, it was Disney Plus Day last Wednesday. They were celebrating their 2-year anniversary of the streaming site. You guys have Disney Plus by any chance?
Sure do.
You do?
Of course.
You guys do. So I canceled mine a few months back. I just wasn't impressed. My initial impression
Call
was
yourself a movie freak.
You're not a fan.
I'll tell you why, because when they started, so they're advertising these movies. We'll use like, I don't know, Mighty Ducks 2, for instance.
Yeah.
They'll say like Mighty Ducks 2. You want to watch it here? So you go to click on it. It says available in May 2022. I'm like, why the fuck would you advertise something that's not on your actual page?
It was on there though, not long ago.
Right. Well, they added it over time.
Oh, so they must have added like maybe and removed it or something, because I watched it.
There was like 10 movies like that. I'm like, dude, if I can't watch these movies, I don't want to fucking be on this page.
Yeah.
So, but
I feel that.
But to celebrate their 2-year anniversary, obviously Marvel is a big part under the Disney umbrella. So they wanted to release some sneak peeks at upcoming projects with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some of those titles include X-Men 97, which is a throwback. They're literally picking up the X-Men animated series from the 90s and basically dusting it off and giving it new life under the new Disney Plus umbrella. Agatha, House of Darkness, Miss Marvel, I Am Groot. Groot is getting his own show. Echo, Marvel Zombies, which I think is pretty sweet. I read a couple of comics of the Marvel Zombies, and I think that's interesting. They're going to throw the superheroes in there. And
so I watched that the What If with the zombie.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I stopped. I didn't watch it all.
Yeah,
because I got a little tired of like the zombie culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's just overkill.
It is. It's like, why is this necessary? But I guess when you go into the Phantom realm, and
it's gonna get crazy, man.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that one's gonna be.
Speaking of which, Spider-Man Freshman Year is another show on there, an animated series for Spider-Man. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. It's combining both the Peter Parker story and the Miles Morales story, so under the same show for once, which is that is very interesting. Obviously, Peter's gonna be older. Miles, I would hope, is the high school student that they're gonna focus that on. But they're both gonna be in it. That's all they're releasing about it right now. Moon Knight, which a lot of fans are excited for. I don't know anything about the Moon Knight character or that world, but I know this has already got some interesting casting, including Oscar Isaac as the titular role. Yeah, I knew somebody was going to say it.
He said tit.
Ironheart is another one. Secret Invasion. We're going to get She-Hulk and What If Season 2. So that is the preview coming up on Disney Plus. Obviously, we know other shows are coming up like Hawkeye, which I'm fucking psyched for.
I wonder why.
I can't wait. Next Wednesday it comes out. Jeremy,
better get your bigger TV before then.
Oh my god.
Ooh. I got a 75.
Something's gonna be bigger. Something's gonna be bigger. But no, like what I'm looking very much forward to the show, not just obviously for Haley, but like Jeremy Renner's always been my favorite Avenger. Like a lot of people always say Iron Man or Captain America. I'm a huge Hawkeye fan because he's human. I love those human characters that don't have those super abilities and capabilities and all that. So there's always something humble and human about Cliff Barton. So I love that character, and I think it's about time that he got his own movie or show.
Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, Disney Plus things to look forward to over the next year. In addition to that, wanted to talk about an unfortunate tragedy that happened this week, and that comes with musician Chris Daughtry. For those of you who don't know Chris Daughtry, he was on season 6 of American Idol, and he got 4th place on that show, and he ended up being one of the biggest musicians on that show's history. Did not win the show, did not even come close to really winning the show, but ended up being bigger than almost everybody on it, minus maybe Carrie Underwood. But he was struck with tragedy this week as he found out that his daughter had passed away. Basically, they found her in her apartment. They do not, as of yet, suspect foul play, but her boyfriend was also...
He was arrested.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I was going to say. But he was arrested on an unrelated crime. So he's in jail for... I'm pulling up the details now, but he was invested for... speeding ticket that he basically ducked and run from. And so yeah, his name's Jolly, interesting enough. He's in jail right now under the protection of police. And let's see here.
Yeah, when I saw that title, the only reason I added it on there is because it popped up.
Yeah.
So I was thinking he got arrested for connection to that.
Well,
not that it was not connected.
They are investigating it right now. Like he is a possible suspect, but they don't suspect foul play right now. Yeah. Like that hasn't been confirmed, so it's a little premature to jump on that right now. But the Daughtry has been shooken from this. Obviously, his daughter's name's Hannah Marie Price, by the way, 25 years old, and she was found deceased on November 11th. So basically Daughtry has canceled the rest of his tour as a result of this. And it's got to be very tough, man, because Chris himself is kind of a young guy. I believe he's 42 years old, and to lose his 25-year-old daughter is, it's a lot, man. Awful. It's a big loss. Do you guys have any opinions on either Daughtry's music or just the situation as a whole?
It's sad. Yeah. I mean, nobody 20. You said 20,
25.
25. Yep. Hannah. Yep.
That's too young. But
I mean, there's gotta be.
I
mean, we can speculate. I'm thinking something drug related. She overdosed. I mean, you don't just pass away in your apartment,
right?
So sadly, something happened.
I don't really want to speak on anything because I don't know what's unraveling. Not familiar with the story.
And I'm sorry. So Jolly was actually arrested on something completely different. So in addition to that ticket, he is also a native of Rockwood, arrested earlier this year on a charge of aggravated assault following a hit and run accident on I-40 in Putnam County in Tennessee. Tennessee patrol report of the incident said Jolly and Price, who was arrested at that time, admitted to using a gun to intimidate the victim.
Yeah, there's going to be more that comes out about this story.
So it sounds like he might be rubbing off a little bit on her because she was also involved in the incident too. So I
mean, sadly, again, to Dan's point, I don't want to speculate, but I foresee, unfortunately, it's going to come out accidental overdose or something. And at that age, it's just so sad to see so many people in that industry fall victim to that because of the lifestyle that surrounds that.
Yeah,
you know, not just as celebrities, but a lot specifically in the music industry. It's just that constant party, go all the time type thing. And I don't know what her connection to music is other than her father, if she did anything herself. No,
she's she works a 9-to-5 job, typical. Yeah.
It's sad. I mean, she's very young. It's awful to lose somebody at that age. As a parent, to lose your child, I cannot imagine. As far as his music, I don't know it well. I do remember him from the show, and I know he was like decent. Obviously, he went on to have a very successful career.
He's like rock country type.
Yeah. He was. So
it's been a while since I've heard anything that he's come out with.
His best was like that song "Over You" to me. Like I always thought that was probably his best song. And then he did some work with Queen. You know, the remaining members of Queen along the way. He was rumored to be the fill-in singer for Brett Scallions on Fuel for a while, which I thought would have been a perfect combination there. I thought his voice really lended itself well to the Fuel alternative rock scene, but it never worked out, and he just kind of went his own way and had a couple big albums here and there. Kind of fallen by the wayside of the mainstream scene anymore, but it's just sad to hear about this. And I, you know, you wish to hear of a Daughtry comeback, not necessarily under this pretense, you know. But sad. In some better news this week, going to the world of comic books, DC's newest series for Batman, which is untitled currently right now, is taking Jace Fox, the current incarnation of Batman and son of Lucius Fox, away from Gotham. I know, sacrilege, and now he is going to be in New York City. This is interesting, guys. For me, I feel like this can go hit or miss. Obviously, Gotham gets compared to New York City a lot. You know, it's kind of a spoof on the city itself, the darkest sides of it. But for me to actually show the imagery and the iconography of the Big Apple, I feel like we'll add something new to the comic books themselves. And it'll certainly take a fictional comic book character and flesh him out with real life circumstances that, you know, we're all obviously a part of, being that New York City is in our own world. What do you guys think about this?
This could be a Marvel DC crossover when you cross paths with Spider-Man.
That's true. Maybe Hell's Kitchen too, with Daredevil and all that. And Daredevil with Batman, couple of independent comics, they have like independent makers put them both in the same comic books a couple of times. So that would be an interesting crossover.
Yeah, I don't know how you cross over the
Marvel and
fake. Well, no, the fake city to then become New York City, which is kind of odd. But I don't know. Maybe it'll allow them to elaborate on it further, like you said. You could do a crossover, like Dan said.
Yeah,
I don't know. I affiliate Batman to Gotham, so it's kind of weird to pull it out. I guess it depends on where they're going to go with the story and what purpose they want it to serve.
And I guess why I asked that question is Gotham is such an intricate part to the Batman lore. Like Gotham is like a city, like, or not a city, but a character in the city, you know, like it's almost as big as the Joker or the Penguin or any of these villains.
Crime rates.
Gotham
overall appearance of it's very grungy, dirty, dark,
and it very much changes and shapes the people inside of it. So that's why more times than not you have more villains in this world. But once in a while you get a Batman, you get a Robin, you get a Batgirl, you know, you get someone who wants to stand up for the good of the city. But it's very much always been depicted as one that's kind of on the down, on the slums, if you will. So I feel like it works toward that moody atmosphere that Batman sets in the comic book world. But I think New York can have that, certainly. And there it's rumored right now that it's only going to be an 8-issue arc. So
you should go to Philadelphia.
Seriously.
They should go to Philadelphia and try miserable cheesesteaks.
Or you can just go to Charlie's. Save yourself the trouble. Just saying.
No, that could be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. There's so many.
Obviously, it's comic book and not theatrical right now. So
there's so many iterations of Batman. Like I feel like he has so many different storylines and characters. Like there's so many just versions of him. That, it's a comic book. It's
you take a kid reading a Gotham-based Batman comic book, and then you give them immediately following that, you give them a New York-based one. Do you think they're going to know the difference?
Probably not, because there's a lot of similarities.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the thing. Like as Ryan was saying, like there's a lot of incarnations of Batman in this world. Bruce Wayne is old. He's grayed. He's not. I don't think he's deceased. The last I read, but I know he's retired from the role. That's why Jace Fox is the character in question. So I like that arc, you know, and not just from a progressive aspect. Obviously, you know, it's a black Batman, which is pretty cool by itself. But on the same token, it's Lucius Fox's son who made the weapons for Batman. Yeah. He's the mind behind the mayhem. Right. So I feel like that's cool too, that, you know, there's kind of that family link now that, you know, he watched his own son become the Cape Crusader himself. So
I'm for it. I mean, I think it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I'm never let down by Batman. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah. So Ryan had some stuff too. There's one more thing I have, but I'm going to save it for last. I'm going to turn it over to my man Ryan over.
Oh, okay. Put me on the spot.
Yes, sir.
Did you want top 5?
I'm saving that for last. Yeah.
I got a couple things I added to here. So we can start off with we're talking about Disney Plus. We can talk about Netflix. So I just found this was interesting, and I came across this article today. So I know we talked about on here before how Netflix comes up with their top 10.
Yeah.
Like, how do these movies appear on there? And like, do people really watch them? And it kind of seemed like maybe they were just trying to push stuff that was maybe going to make them money, or it was an agreement with the director or the production company, put it up there so that it's there and people will watch it.
Yeah.
So they released a statement recently. I don't know if it was today or it was just very recent when I saw the story, but more information around how they determine their top 10s and just kind of being more clear with the information that they provide and like how they're determine their information and whatever. It's going to now be based on a full viewing of like how many hours the film or the TV show or whatever has been viewed. Whereas before it was based off of a 2-minute preview. I think like those previews that are at like maybe the top of the page or something.
Oh, well, shit.
So it's based on how many, like, and that's why I feel like sometimes those were like out of sorts. Like there's no way this is the number 6 top 10 movie views
anything
in Netflix like right now. So they're going to come out and there's going to be more forefront about how they choose their movies, the algorithm that they use about it. But I think that those will dynamically change based on full hours viewed and not just you watching like the preview of it. You know, that's like when you get a view or a listen because someone like clicked your link.
Just
someone might, that doesn't mean that it's the most popular one. Someone might have clicked it out of interest, but didn't actually watch it.
I guarantee you Red Notice should be number 1 this week.
Oh yeah. I mean, killed it.
It's the most, what'd you say?
Biggest money.
Yeah.
Highest grossing
one day.
First day release on Netflix.
Yeah.
Wild.
It was my most read review ever too. So
most read review ever.
10,000 people have now seen that review.
What? Still growing.
Yeah, it's still going as we speak.
It's got, I mean, something with Netflix, man. I don't know. Maybe they're pumping that.
You think
shit out
that it's accessible for a lot of people, a lot of your listeners or readers and stuff, that they're checking it out and seeing?
I have noticed the Netflix reviews on my page do get more hits for sure. So I think that there is something to it. And the fact that Ryan, who talked me into over a year and a half ago to not privatize my page anymore to make it open and access to everybody, seems like such an easy move to do. But at the time I wanted more people to have to join it to read it. But Ryan had a good point on some things. So I opened it to everybody. And now, it seems like it's paying off in terms of like those Netflix movies do very well on my page. That's why I try to incorporate more Netflix films into my reviews now.
It makes sense to Dan's point. It's more accessible. It's free.
Yeah.
Everyone I mean, Netflix is probably the platform most people have into choosing between Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or Apple or HBO. Netflix is like the go-to.
I agree.
So you have so many people that are going to see these movies.
It's crazy. I will say that Netflix is probably the least used streaming app that I use.
That's wild.
Really? At my house. Yeah. It'll be Disney Plus and Hulu.
I use HBO more.
HBO, but I don't go to Netflix that often. I have over the last like week or so, just because I was running out of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
So Disney I started Plus flipping. Is my last. That's my lowest.
Really?
Disney Plus. I'll turn on like anything to fall asleep to.
Yeah.
I'll watch Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Wow.
Time and time again.
I can promise you're going to watch Netflix starting tomorrow because Tiger King 2 is on tomorrow.
Is it really?
I didn't even watch Tiger King, the original.
Well, then I can't promise shit.
I can bring back my Tiger King character.
Your promise.
There you go.
I never finished it because it kind of died off, but there's a new season, so I'm on it.
Do it. Starts tomorrow.
Yeah, Tiger King. So anyways, I just thought that was interesting. We've talked about it on here before. I don't know. Let their algorithm.
No,
you can find it on their website. They're going to be more open about how they choose them, and
makes sense. Creating your top 10 based off of previews is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's an automatic thing. So like my TV plays by itself if you leave it idle for long enough.
Right.
Like that can be that could be Clueless. That could be The Great Mouse Detective. That could be anything.
That's fantastic.
Great Mouse Detective is the best Disney movie of all time.
Yeah. Does Netflix autoplay after you watch a movie, or does it just sit there in the menu?
It times out.
Okay.
Yeah. You get that. You get the are you still watching? And then you have to say either yes, don't ask me again. Yes, ask me again soon, or no, I'm not. Otherwise, it just stops.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure because, like I said, I haven't watched it.
Yeah,
much of Netflix.
So that's one of the things. Like, I'll choose which streaming service I have on before I go to bed, because some of them will just continue to play all night long.
Yeah.
Whereas Netflix, if I choose something on there, at least I know it's going to turn off, and I don't have something playing the entire night keeping me awake.
The thing I
white
hate,
noise.
We'll fall asleep to Hulu.
Yeah,
like FX or FXX. And FXXX. Well,
FSex.
I'll wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they'll be either that
again.
There'll be that Adam and Eve infomercial playing.
What are you? It just keeps going down more. It just keeps going down more.
It drives me nuts.
I was with you till Adam and Eve.
Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Man, are you crazy? I hate getting up at 6.
Playing. It'll be playing.
Oh my
on
goodness.
FXX.
Shit.
FX. That one, or it's the Chuck Norris. He's got
sidekicks.
No,
I think
he's got some workout machine.
Yeah,
that
like a Bowflex or something.
And just the music will wake me up and piss me off. It's like, fucking, I don't want to hear it again.
You got to put on Netflix because then it turns off.
I wish for Bowflex, like infomercials for music, they should just play Adele music. Speaking of which,
this fucking guy, you guys and your awful transition.
That was good.
So one of the other things I had on here was about the Black Panther.
Wrong story.
What the fuck? What kind of transition was that?
I needed to purposely just stray away from that awful forced transition you guys have been throwing at me these last 2 weeks. So
is the next Black Panther.
I don't know who the actress is that plays
Laisha Wright.
Laisha Wright. So she apparently has been fairly vocal about her thoughts on COVID or anti-COVID or anti-vaccine, which has caused production holdups as is because she doesn't live within the States. So traveling here, there's restrictions and things you have to follow.
She's British, right?
I believe so. Yeah. She was injured on set, which delayed things. And now she's become very vocal about her thoughts on COVID, which is causing delays. And the production company is coming to a point now, which is where I want your guys' opinion on when do we think it's just not worth it to keep delaying and not move on with the story? Like, are we so hooked to her being that legacy or that character that we continue to wait for her to come around, or as a production company, do you decide to move on and either have a different actress or go a different route? What do you guys think?
You're asking the right question, because at the end there you said as a production company, what would you do? That's the right question. Don't matter what we think.
No, as the overseer of the movie, you're like, you got to get this out to make money.
Yeah.
What are you doing at this point? Do you continue to wait it out for her?
My thing is how invested are you to make a Black Panther 2 or to continue the series on and on and on? Like, if you're hell bent on doing it, it wouldn't hurt waiting a little longer. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But after a while, man, whether it comes to COVID things, she won't get the vaccine for whatever reason, and she gets popped for COVID or something like that. After a while, you got to say, look, we'll take a loss on this one, but we got to recast this role and cut down or close down green lighting this whole project and just move on without you.
Right.
I don't know if there's a designated time for something like that. For me, Hollywood productions being what they are, especially the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when they release a date, those fans expect that day is the day they are going to watch that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like with Black Widow, push back,
and that ruined that fucking movie completely. Expectation became like Dr. Dre, the 2020 album. So after a while, after you've heard so much that, this is gonna be the greatest thing ever, it wasn't, and it just became a mediocre film. So like I feel like if you did that with Black Panther, it would be even more judgmental to the whole phase 4. Yeah, I don't know, Ryan. That's a tough answer to say. For me, I guess I would just say, like, look, I would explain to her, we've got this much invested in it. It's a big project. Either you're on board with us or you're not.
Do you think that most people, I think myself included, kind of voiced that she'd be the perfect continuation of the role?
I agree.
Most people voiced that's who they think would hit her or Killmonger, taking on and having a story of their own. She's
the smartest person in the MCU. She's smarter than Tony Stark.
That would be the route to go. Two questions. And Dan, I want your opinion on the first one too, but I'm going to add 2 more to remember all these.
I can't
keep
track of all. Send me more notes.
Do you think production company should move forward? That's question 1. 2, do you think that taking on a different actress to play the same role is damning to the role? And 3, do you think they just go a different route altogether? And to answer your question about how long do we wait, or do we keep going? I think that it's great that they're not forcing her to get vaccinated. They're not taking that stance, like get vaccinated or not. But I think they need to throw her, like you said, hey,
a time.
We respect it, but like you got to either commit. You're either going to get it or within a certain time frame or something, or we got to move forward.
We need someone who's here.
Exactly. So
they won't let her come on set until she gets vaccinated?
There's there's certain restrictions because she doesn't live within the state. So anytime she might travel back and forth for whatever reason,
she's got to quarantine.
Then whenever you come here, there's protocol she has to follow that just continues. It's just delaying things. It's not production. They can't continue filming because it's such a problem in between each time that she has to travel for anything.
And they said they've filmed everything that they can film without her already. Like they're done with all that.
On her.
Now they're waiting on her scenes, which is obviously the bulk of the movie, being it's her film.
Yep.
Right. So I don't think recasting it is a great idea because you basically have to write a whole new, like
it'd shut down. Yeah. It would just be a new movie.
So stick. I think they should just stick it out. Maybe push that release date or that potential release date back a little bit further. When you first started the topic, I thought it's going to get how long until we just like accept the fact that COVID is around, like, because there's a lot of canceling going on because of people's stance on vaccinations and stuff. And I think
Aaron Rodgers thing, which we'll talk about.
It's ridiculous. It's not just that. It's like with her stance, I just move on. It's going to be a thing for a very long time.
Yeah,
we have to accept that.
But I think you can accept that and still. I think it give everyone has a choice.
But if she comes over to us and not exhibiting any over to the U.S. to film, and she's not experiencing any symptoms or anything, why hold up everything? Like,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
like it's just it's there. Like whether have her get tested when she gets here.
Yeah,
and if that's against what she believes, then you got to get past this COVID thing because it's there. Like the effective rate on these vaccines are dropping because of this. Like the booster shots are becoming necessary.
Yeah,
but if you want to move on with your filming, you have to make some adjustments.
So I think you're right, but I think you're right on Black Panther 3. On 2, because so much of this movie has already been filmed and they're under the gun. You're right as far as they can't recast this role. It's too late. You filmed too much. You've invested too much money into this movie. You have to write it out with Laisha Wright. That's just the way it is. Black Panther 3, that might be a different story altogether. This might become an anthology series where you go, look, we're going to do Shuri in this movie, but we're going to do somebody else in the next one. Winston Duke's whatever that character's name was. We'll follow him in the next one. Then we'll learn the Black Panther isn't just one guy, it's a community. Like, we're all the Black Panther. Maybe that's the direction you take.
Right.
I think that I get your point on like COVID is around. I guess my thing is like, they're not forcing her, but they have to come to terms with the point is her decision is costing them money. And that's her choice. If she doesn't want to get it, they're not forcing her to get it, but she's also at risk of not getting the job. It's like if you apply for a job and you know that you're going to have to be vaccinated to get it and you choose not to, well, you're just at risk of not getting that job. They need to come to terms. Her and production have to come to terms on
how they can get it done.
How do we get it done? How bad do we want her? Chris, I think, makes a very good point as well. Look, this might go a different route. We need her at this point because of it's already been rolled out. But granted, hopefully by Black Panther 3, we're not fucking talking about COVID. But if we are, I don't see her around if she hasn't made any changes to her views or hasn't gotten vaccinated or anything like that. It's just ultimately, at the end of the day, they gotta make money. That's what they're in the business of doing. It's making money. We want the movie. They need to get the movie out. Figure it out.
And at that point, if you have a third protagonist by a third movie, this is an anthology series. It's become that by now.
And I don't mind that idea.
I don't either. I actually don't think it's a bad idea.
Right.
Pitch it.
Well.
So we'll see what happens with her. I don't know. Well, I don't know where she goes with it at this point, but I'd like it to be sooner than later because that's one of my favorite Marvel movies. I fucking love Black Panther. So I'd really like to see where they take the story at this point.
Top 10 for you for Marvel movies?
Absolutely. Probably top 5. Yeah, I really like Black Panther. I watch that a lot. That's probably the main reason I signed into Disney Plus. So I can watch Black Panther over and over and over again.
There you go.
Killmonger is probably my favorite villain in the MCU, like even more than Thanos. Like, I love Killmonger.
I second that. He's fantastic. I would have loved to have seen more from him.
I agree.
Love Michael B. Jordan. Love the character. I think they did a fantastic job with that. So
Adele.
As Chris was hitting at Adele. So I honestly didn't get to watch this. I hope I can find it on a streaming service or a replay. But on Sunday, she had a private. I think it was at like a fucking. It was at the
Opera House, wasn't it?
No, it was at like an observatory, a big name observatory, space place, whatever. I can't think of the fucking name.
LA observatory.
I don't know, but anyway,
I just know every girl I know watched this fucking show.
Here's the thing that is cool. I thought was cool about it. I mean, Adele's a fantastic musician. Whether you are into her music or not, like just as a musician, I'd probably say the closest thing since Whitney Houston as far as her as a voice, her vocal range. I think she's phenomenal. I think what I thought was really cool about this is that she put on a concert of just herself on stage, no decorations, no backup dancers, no like over the top anything,
no frills. Yep.
And you had an entire audience of just celebrities who respect her enough that they were there just to watch her on stage by herself, just fucking sing. I mean, the level of respect for that, just for her as an artist and just her talent, I think is super fucking cool. I can't imagine. I mean, she's younger. She's not very. I think she's our age.
She's not my age. I would think.
Yeah, she's like mid-30s.
Yeah.
Has been on hiatus for like 7 years. Like her last album was
Hello, which was
2011, I think.
Yeah, Hello was around 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Like
so. But then she has these moments where she just comes back and just fucking kills it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just really cool, the setting of the show, and just the respect that garners, for these people to come out and just watch you alone. It wasn't a big spectacle. I think that was really neat. Either of you guys watch it or
I didn't watch it, so I was gonna say you watched it, obviously, right?
I watched like clips of it. I haven't watched the full like sit down, but I watched segments of her singing and just kind of saw the Griffin Observatory. Is what it was at. The Griffin Observatory.
LA, I think.
Yeah, well, it was like up in the mountains.
Yeah, that's where Linkin Park played at the VMAs.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. They performed The Catalyst, which was an amazing performance. So I wasn't going to ask if she was good because obviously that's a stupid question.
So stupid.
What about it for you found unique? Like, I know you mentioned a couple aspects of the celebrities being there and all that. Was there anything that was unique about this performance that was different from, like, say, typical TV concerts?
Yeah. I mean, to me, just from what I saw, it seemed very intimate. Location, I think, played a huge part in that. I mean, they were up in the fucking mountains by themselves, very small setting. Looks like they brought in, like, you know, like banquet chairs you'd have for a wedding, and then they put kind of in the lawn. So very, very small group of people. There was videos I saw of people that were like hiking nearby, and they were all like stopped over on trails in the mountains, like kind of watching from afar, just listening. Could you imagine just being like out in the desert and listening to Adele just echoing through there?
Yeah.
Like, has to be fucking insane.
Yeah.
But I think there's that intimate feeling of it was really cool.
Bites your face off.
They're called links in that area.
Disney's buying the rights.
But no, I just think that's kind of a cool thing to be able to be a part of that. Obviously, it was broadcast. It was like put on by CBS or something, so other people could watch it. But I would love to be in a status that I could get invited to watch a concert that close knit and like to her. No big stage. You're just standing there on a fucking.
Gotta get famous.
Yeah, man.
So that's my question. Did she invite the celebrities, or did they say, I'm such a big fan of Adele that I want to
hiking through the parks and just
snuck
pulled
over.
up a chair?
It was put together by CBS and then Oprah and Adele. They like did the show together. So I'm assuming they probably had some say in who like came or whatever, but
so there were free cars under the chairs too. That's so badass,
right? That's why they were really there for Adele. Like, you get a car. Dan, do you listen to Adele? Do you like Adele? Have any care in?
No, I don't listen to her. I mean, if the song comes on, you know, that's it. I don't seek it out.
Man, Christian, same to you. Not a fan or.
I actually do like Adele, and I'm going to surprise you. I like her older stuff better. I like before she even got huge. Chasing Pavements is my favorite Adele song. Like,
throwback.
That album right there, solid. Like that. From that moment on, I knew she was one of those generational voices that you alluded to earlier, like Whitney Houston. I like her older stuff too, but for me, like, as somebody who like has the radio and listens to the radio all the time, like, I feel like she's overplayed to the point that it's agonizing. But
it's not her fault.
You hear her at Rolling Greens all the time. You can say it.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Delilah.
17 times a round.
Hello, I'm trying to putt. But no, I like her music. When it first comes out, I like her music.
Yeah.
By the 48,000
radio though, you just gotta get off the radio.
Yes, like
radio kills everything.
It killed
the radio star.
Video killed the radio star.
Radio's close enough.
Radio killed the
iPod killed everything.
Here's a hot take for you, and it involves someone that we'll maybe talk about next week, but I don't think we're gonna talk about her this week. I compare Adele to I compare Taylor Swift, like the Wish version of Adele. They both sing these awful. No, they're not awful, but like they're these terrible breakup,
I really don't
cry, sad song. That's all their music is. It's just about like their past relationships and like going through heartache. And I think Adele does it way better than Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
but I think she's extremely talented. I don't own. Actually, you know what? I do have one of her albums on vinyl, but I don't listen to it a lot. You know, she's got good songs, like you said, when they first come out.
Still wrapped in plastic. It's
still wrapped in the plastic. They're worth listening to. But you have no room to talk, Mr. Shoe Guy, who doesn't ever touch them.
He called you.
You have no room to talk.
I think she's very talented, and I have actually. I've worn every pair on those shelves, except for the.
You didn't wear those.
Except for those. That's the only pair
I too think Taylor is talented, and there's even a couple of songs from her B-sides that I like.
Yeah,
but
not these B-sides.
her B-sides on her albums. But I feel like her fan base, and we will talk about this next week, believe me, her fan base are the most irresponsible fans on the planet.
Oh, God. I thought we were going to talk about that this week, but good thing you're saving it for next week.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but
no, next week.
So here's a spoiler for next week, and here's a little marketing tool that you can tune in next week. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the new Spider-Man trailer, and we're going to talk about the Stranger Things trailer.
Ooh, Stranger Things. The last piece I have for music before we kick it off back to Chris is
Billy.
Is as Daniel alluded to is Billie. Oh, Billie Eilish.
Oh, Billie.
So a couple things coming out of Billie Eilish. Unfortunately, not me. is she
Wait,
is
say that
just,
again?
No.
Say that again.
She is blowing.
How does that work?
Say that again.
You don't know how that works? Unfortunately, not me.
You ever do one of these? Huh?
Oh my god. She's blowing up. I mean, her career has been
Huge,
growing for a while. But I wasn't following her on Instagram, oddly enough, and I recently started following her, and I think she's really just getting to the point where she's coming out of her shell and she's really expanding, and the brand that she's creating outside of just her music is really, really starting to grow. She just released she's got the shoe collaborations. She just released her own perfume line. She's got her own vegan chocolate with some company in Europe.
Oh, she's a vegan?
She's a vegan, recently a vegan. Yeah. So that alludes to the documentary she released. I got a couple of questions for you guys on this.
I gotta watch that.
So she just released a documentary. It's called "They're Trying to Kill Us." Weird partnership. It's her and Chris Paul, the basketball player.
Suns.
CP3.
Yeah. Her and Chris Paul are the executive producers on this film together.
Okay.
And it's a film based around how the food industry takes advantage of low income and like impoverished neighborhoods and stuff where they place their restaurants. You know, where you always find a McDonald's in a low income
kind of talking about that.
We talked about that last week. Yeah, we were. Oh man, I could touch on this big time.
So that's what this is going to be about. I'm very interested in watching and I know they got to make money, but my whole thing is they're charging $20 to watch this documentary, which I wonder how many people pay to watch. I'm huge into documentaries.
She's big,
but I mean, I don't know if I'm paying $20 to watch it when I wish they would have cut a deal with the streaming service and made like a paycheck and then had more access for more people to see it, because I think it's a cool topic and I would really like to see it. I just don't know if I want to pay $20 for it.
You won't pay $20.
Yeah. But have you guys seen anything about this? Did you know about it? Any interest? Dan?
I didn't know about it.
See, I brought something to the table.
But it is definitely, I mean, something current event type that really needs to be addressed. So I'm for it.
I also didn't know about it, but I feel like this is a great idea to make a documentary about, and it's very true. Especially in the neighborhoods I live in.
Yeah. It says the film features notable influencers from the fields of hip hop, medicine, sports, entertainment, policy, and politics. It says weighing in on the single most deadly threat to America's society that mainstream media doesn't want to talk about.
It's a great idea. Light needs to be brought to this topic because we are the fattest country,
most obese country in the world. Yep.
And the reason for that is
Texas.
It is those demographics that
they got a lot of guns. You better be quiet. I agree.
Yeah, it's just
sad. Well, like you guys both said, we talked about we grazed over it last week on just the accessibility and the cost and everything, and I think it's cool. I mean, she's very young. I think she just turned 19 or she's 19 years old. Mm-hmm. She's just really reaching out and touching on a lot of important things. And I thought it was cool to see her doing something to this caliber and shedding light on something or topic like this, you know, where so many people before her could have or could be involved. I just thought it was weird. Chris Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, what does he have to do with movies?
You're sure it's the same guy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Chris Paul and her.
The second all-time assist leader.
Yeah. So that will be, because it says They're Trying to Kill Us is a new groundbreaking documentary from executive producers, 7-time NBA All-Star Chris Paul.
That's him.
And 7-time Grammy winner Billie Eilish. It must have been because he had 7 All-Star wins. So that's why, and it aligned with her 7 Grammys. That's how he got picked.
Yeah, 7s.
It was the 7s. That's all.
Damn sure wasn't his championship win.
Right. But yeah, would you, well, my question was going to be, do you think asking $20 for a documentary like this kind of hinders the message that they're trying to get out there, or limit the people that are going to be able to see it or watch it?
It's definitely going to limit. But
I mean, you got to think about the demographic they're trying to get to. And now you want to charge them $20 to see it or to watch it.
Well, the demographic that's being attacked doesn't have money to pay for it.
How ironic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe
that's my point.
Maybe there's a bunch of people out there that want to make a change, but just don't know where to go, what to do. And this could bring light to that.
Yeah.
Is it I'm not paying $20
is it
for
something
it?
You guys would pay $20 to see?
No. Now, if the $20 was going towards, if it was going towards something.
Yeah, it's going towards the money that they spent to make the video. To
well,
give you the
I know that.
But if it was going toward like fighting this or something about it,
exactly,
like some idea, I would say it's a great idea. Yeah, you should charge.
We don't know
for
that. It probably isn't. It's probably going to.
It hasn't said anyways. I haven't seen that. So that's a no from both of you.
It's a no because it's $20. If it was on Hulu and I just saw like, hey, check out this movie here, or whatever, watch now for free. I'll watch it. Yeah, because I think that's a fascinating topic, and I think it's true. I've always thought that it's odd that certain restaurants are placed in certain areas but not in others. Just it goes on the topic of like racism and all kinds of other things like that I don't want to get into right now, but I feel like there's a reason why this problem applies particularly to poor neighborhoods than anywhere else. Yeah.
So I think to your point about where the money's going, I think it is going to a cause.
Okay.
Because I pulled up the FAQs on it and it says, well, someone asked
maybe $10.
How many times am I able to view the film? It says you can view the film as many times as you'd like within the access period.
48 hours. Usually.
Well, but it says you can also download the film for offline viewing, but it's a violation of terms to upload the film anywhere, blah, blah, blah. Please help us raise 1 million for charity by encouraging your community to support the film directly. So it looks like they're trying to use the funds. They're trying to use it to raise money for
$1 million.
They're trying to raise $1 million.
Here's the thing, though. When I pay $20, like you get the full on Film Freak, like I can be as critical as I want to be.
Absolutely.
Like, if I don't feel like it was done well or it did justice well, you're going to hear it firsthand.
I would like to see a breakdown of this from Chris.
Yeah. Chris
just
Paul,
based on the topic of what it's covering and seeing if they did it justice. And
Chris Paul should pay $1 million for us to just be able to watch it.
Jesus.
And LeBron should rescue Rolling Acres Mall.
Yeah.
Even though it's too late.
These
if he wants
fucking
us to,
selfish.
If he wants us to see it.
Well, I mean, who fronted the money to make it?
Billie.
And then supposedly, from what I gather, it seems like they're donating the money
profits
from
that she got from the Nike signing, Jordan signing.
It's probably partial efforts. It's like the studio donated a percentage, she donated a percentage, he donated a percentage. Yeah. Usually that's what producers are. It's a glorified way of saying an investor. Yeah. Like it's a way of saying like they're going to pull back a bigger chunk of it if this does well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think it's cool though.
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great topic to point on.
I agree. Yeah. I would watch it. And knowing that I guess I would have to know what it's going towards, but
yeah.
Why not? I'd give it a shot.
$20. Yeah. What would you pay? You'd pay $20?
I'd pay $20, but like I said, that shit better be good, man. Because I don't pay $20 for movie tickets.
Yeah. If you knew right. if you knew the full $20 was going to fund low income impoverished neighborhoods, would you be all on board with paying $20 for it?
Why not? They do those in the theaters. They have those special screenings.
Fathom events, yeah.
So, I mean, why not do that?
That was kind of my question. I think it's weird the way they're releasing it. They're releasing it just to the website. Mm-hmm. You buy it, and then they've got a link.
I don't like
to watch it. Really... So I don't know. I agree. I kind of wish it was more accessible.
Yes.
So to play into what Dan said, they released last Thursday. They released Rocky IV director's cut, which was the Sylvester Stallone cut. He was the director on this cut. It's all this additional footage, supposedly 49 minutes of additional footage, and they released it to Fathom events. And that's a $20 ticket. One night it's in theaters on Thursday.
One night only.
I did not see it when it was in theaters, but I found out it was coming to streaming services the next day. Like you could rent it for $5. So I said, well, fuck yeah, I'm going to rent it in my home for $5 instead of going to see it for 20. Absolutely. So I watched it and all that. My opinion is not relevant for this topic, but I'll just say that like, if they did something like that, I feel like obviously they would expand more on a bigger audience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, while they're intrigued by the topic, just as we are, they won't pay that $20 because they can't.
Yeah. I say if with a film like this and with the names behind it, you get corporate sponsors to cover it and you release it for free.
Sure. Yeah.
That's you try and sell it to Netflix. Netflix buys documentaries all the time.
That
Netflix would give you $1 million for it.
It's information people should know. You shouldn't have to pay $20.
Agreed.
No.
I won't pay $20 to view it. I wouldn't pay $20 to view it. I wouldn't.
There's a great documentary that I felt wasn't seen in 2016. It's called Fed Up. And it's about school lunch systems, basically the whole system as a whole, and how depreciated it is and how truly important it is to kids' progress. And I feel like everybody on this planet should watch that at least once.
I mean, school lunches is sometimes these kids only access to food. Yep. I mean, that is something that should be absolutely funded and made accessible to all children. But something like this, I mean, maybe it's because I already have the knowledge around it. Like I already have a good for the most part, understanding of what it's probably going to touch on, but you got to make it accessible to the people that really should be able to see it and understand.
Who don't have that knowledge.
And $20 is just asking a lot to do that. So,
I agree.
Yep.
And you're right. It is ironic.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I at the end of the day, I don't want to take away from what she's trying to do, because that was the whole purpose of the segment. I think it's cool. I'm a big fan of hers.
I think she's talented. I just don't like her songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I love her finals, man.
I love
Dude,
her, man.
just the way
I pulled up. I wanted to see. She's going on tour soon. The closest one is not anywhere super close, and I pulled up ticket pricing. And I was like, "Fuck, man!"
Yeah,
because I really would love to go see her live, but it is not. It's not cheap.
Well, when you're a big artist, and I mean, she's a top 5 artist. She's a top 5 name right now.
She's
when you're that,
it.
They're going to maul you for everything you're worth.
Yeah, she's killing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool stuff coming from her. If you don't follow her, check her out on Instagram. I think it's just Billie Eilish. She's got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah. Can we do a quick little rewind to the Travis Scott situation?
Sure.
So
remix.
Rewind.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So they just found out, I think yesterday, that the 11th person has passed away.
Damn.
It was a 9-year-old child.
What's your 9-year-old doing at that show?
Drugged though? Were they drugged?
No. So his dad had collapsed. He was on his dad's shoulders.
Oh shit!
And collapsed, and then the kid fell down.
The dad survived.
I'm not sure. I think so.
Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Can you imagine?
So 11 people have passed away during that.
That wasn't 8 last week.
Yeah,
8 now. It's 11.
He died from injuries. He didn't pass out. I don't think he passed. I think he passed away from injuries. Probably got crushed with the people that were
too small.
So what I wanted to with that sucks. Nike has postponed their release of the Travis Scott Air Force One or Air Max ones that were supposed to come out on December 16th. They, in light of the events that have happened and to give respects to the family, they've postponed it to a later date. That hasn't been determined what the later date is. I don't know if they're gonna release it, but some of the stories that I've been seeing in comments are, should Nike and Jordan brand cut ties with the Travis Scott?
More
name?
Canceling.
I don't think so.
Right.
Like we talked about on the show. I mean, what's your thought?
I don't think they should.
Yeah. We were all in agreement to that. I think we all said no.
Yeah.
My thing was, when you're casting responsibility, I feel like every party involved has a part of the pie. So if you're going to cancel Travis Scott, you have to cancel the audience. You have to cancel the people put on the concert. You have to cancel everybody.
Right.
Like that's the cameraman, the security, everybody should be canceled.
Right. I think I didn't comment on any of those reactions quite yet, but I agree with you. I don't think he should be canceled from the possibility of creating good experiences in the future.
Right.
Yeah. I like the delaying. I feel like that's I
think it's a
move.
proper thing to do.
It's respectful, and it for PR purposes, as schemy as that sounds, it's good though. Like it makes them look good. It makes them look like they care. They can put their profit on pause for the
families.
Yeah. For the promiscuity of the families. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I thought that was interesting. And I don't know if that meant
no
segment.
That's a good touch
thing,
though.
But
I didn't hear about that.
I did want to point out that there's an 11th person, there's a
9-year-old
child.
too.
I always think it's important for us to update on stories we've previously talked about, just to kind of see where they've gone, and because we don't always have all the information right away.
Yeah,
I mean, part of that is to touch back and when we find out more. So
we should do that for COVID.
Yeah, you want to touch back on it? How's it going? Anything new and exciting?
Every fucking week.
But no, I agree with both of you. I think that the delaying, sure, I'm okay with it. I one way or another, it wouldn't bother me, but I'm okay with what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Canceling, no, though. There's too many parties involved. Things were mismanaged. We all agreed to that, I think, last week. But to hold him solely accountable and try and tarnish his career or his brand over this, no, I think it's going to, I think going forward, though, if they do an Astroworld next year, they are some serious changes.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
He's going to have to really rebrand himself and come out in front of this and say, look, in light of what happened last year, we're doing X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
It's not going to happen again. Like he's going to, it can't happen again.
The comparison I made was when that woman got hit by the foul ball and died at the baseball game.
Yep.
That's when you saw nets go up all around every baseball field in America. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's going to be
accountability.
some major changes, and I think he's got to.
It's his.
He's
name.
going to have to weigh in more
Yep.
to the decisions based off this because it's his image.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's his name out there. Travis Scott Astroworld.
Yeah.
He has to voice an opinion and take ownership, not the blame, but you have to take ownership over that tour. These people are coming to see you.
Yeah.
So I was really pumped that those were going to release on the 16th because that's my
know.
birthday, and I usually have good
Yes.
luck on my birthday with sneakers. So I was
Yes, I
hoping
know.
that was, but I'm okay with it.
Well, now you can take that sneaker money and you can put it toward Billie Eilish's documentary.
No, I don't think. I'd rather have sneakers.
Wow. Or Dan's heart really is.
Dan, honest man, Sandman.
Hey,
Fuck those poor starving people. I want my shoes.
I-
The thoughts and comments of Jesse Young do not reflect the Made to
Good thing
Motivate
Jesse's not
podcast in
here.
any way.
Can't breathe. My head hurts.
He goes,
there's the sneaker event still going on in Cleveland.
Oh my
Sneaker
god.
fun.
I have my head.
You going?
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Well,
gonna-
I don't know. Chris, you got to finish us off.
I'm gonna steal it back from your clutches for a
We
second.
just skip sports.
You steal it.
Oh no, we're not doing that. Oh, I forgot.
We are not skipping sports
Let's
this
skip.
week.
Can we skip sports though?
Weekend box office top 5. Want to talk about this to round out
Top
the
5.
Hollywood Report. Kind of seems like an ongoing skit that we're kind of doing with this show. So we've got some changes and some shakeups. Looking at the list here, nothing that's big, no more than a spot down or up. To me, there's one new addition to the top 5. I don't know if you guys will be able to predict it, whether or not. And there's plenty of familiar faces. One such familiar face at number 5, I still cannot believe this. Venom, after 8 weeks, is hanging in the top 5. It made another nearly $4 million, still in 2,500 theaters, bringing its grand total gross to $202 million.
If you would have had to have bet on this movie before it released, and you had to put money on it being or not being in the top 5, how would you have bet on this?
I mean, I'd say it'd be in the top 5 just because it's a
Maybe the
superhero
first
movie.
week.
I would say a couple weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
Really?
2
You
or
think
3
that long?
weeks. Yeah, because there's a lot of Venom fans. I don't like it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Venom.
I don't know
fans
why I
out
thought your
there.
guys' expectations were much lower than.
I just don't like the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know people are like, it's the greatest thing ever,
Yeah.
man. It's awesome.
I'm blown away. I mean, I liked the first one, but I did not expect it to be doing this good for
I didn't
this
either.
long.
I was thinking maybe 100 million overall it would pull in. It's at
Yeah.
202 million and it's not even done yet.
Did you watch it yet, Dan?
I have not.
No. Did you watch the original? The
Yes.
First one? Okay.
I enjoed the first one.
I
I
liked
thought
it.
the first one was better than the second one, and yet, like, eesh.
Yeah. Interest. That's wild, though. I still can't believe it's trucking along. That's 5. Number 5.
That's number 5.
Where was it
coming-
last week?
It was number 4 last week, so it dropped 1 spot.
Okay.
It's slowly making its way down, which is expected after 8 weeks.
Right,
but
of
like
course.
8 weeks, it's still in the top 5, man. Like
Yeah.
even in a pandemic world, that's remarkable.
That's really, really good. That's impressive.
Also dropping 1 spot this week is James Bond's No Time to Die, coming in at number 4, making $4.5 million out of 2,800 theaters, bringing its grand total to $150 million domestically.
Jeez.
No Time to Die is, it's slowly making that way down. By the way, that's after 6 weeks. It's making its way down, after a long lifespan. But still, considering that it's as far as British markets go, it's the highest Bond grossing movie of all time. As far as American markets go, it's the third highest Bond grossing movie of all time.
What was number one?
Skyfall.
Skyfall.
Yeah, Skyfall is the highest grossing Bond film of all time. So Casino Royale is a close second, and then this is third by a little bit of a ways. So yeah, No Time to Die, number 4, drops from number 3 last week. Taking over the number 3 spot this week, also dropping 1 spot, is Dune with $5.5 million. 3,200 theaters, bringing its grand total to $93 million for Dune and Denis Villeneuve. We've talked about this several times now. Man. Remarkable. And I couldn't be happier that the crowd is coming out in droves to see this film.
We were going to try to watch it last week.
Dan bailed on me.
Yeah, well.
Where are you going, Tinseltown?
Yeah, but there was an early morning, like a 10 o'clock time.
That's probably a good time to watch it.
And then the next time, well, he wasn't available then because he's broken.
I had to go to the chiropractor.
The next time was like 3 o'clock. But there's like 75 Clifford showings in between.
Yeah, you'll go see that.
Shout out Rubber City Chiropractics. Jim, he does chiropractic for the Browns players.
Oh, really?
Good guy. You need a chiropractor, I highly recommend.
Oh, you're getting touched by the same guy who touches Myles Garrett. That's awesome.
His dick.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim. That's inappropriate. He's a really nice guy.
Chiropractic has changed since I last went.
Yeah.
I was always terribly afraid of the chiropractor, and I went.
Biscuits.
And this guy he's super nice. It's really cool, and he just happens to also do the Browns. But
does he do like the X-rays and stuff?
No, I mean he might. I didn't do that though. I just go and get a
rub and tug.
Full chiropractic adjustment. Feels fantastic.
Yeah.
Is this your second? Like what?
I've been going for. I think this was my fourth time.
You didn't do an X-ray on you at first or anything?
Do you actually feel the cracks when they're doing it too? Because I've seen videos of that shit. It's like.
That's what freaks me out. That's why I've never been.
That's why I was always terrified. I was always terrified, especially of the neck one.
I've watched kung fu movies where people they die.
Yeah.
When their heads get twisted like that.
That's a movie. He's super cool.
I don't care.
He goes over it all with you. He makes you feel comfortable. Because I told him straight out, I'm like, dude, I've wanted to come forever. I'm terrified of this. I'd
like to do it too.
He's like, just breathe.
Cool. My medical will probably cover it too.
I don't think so.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Chiropractors usually
get like
covered
one visit.
Yeah.
But it has to be deemed by a doctor necessary. Yeah, it's not typically covered. We pay cash. But
by the way, Dune's been on the countdown now for 4 weeks. So after 4 weeks, $93 million. That's solid. I mean, they were worried about getting enough money to fund their second movie. I mean, it's already been greenlit, but I think they've more than made enough to fund that next
Still
epic.
Keep passing over it on HBO, man. I can't. Yeah. I gotta watch it in theaters, and I really want to get out there to see it.
I think you're making the right choice, because my thing is, and I watched it on HBO, it's still good, but I feel like it's lacking a lot of the world building aspects that was defined in the sound scheme.
Should I watch the original?
You don't have to. I
just wondered, like, just to get a bit of the story, or should I just
go into the real one?
Just go straight into the new one.
They do a good job explaining it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you're ever going to be lost. There's scenes of long-winded exposition delves where they kind of pause the momentum of the story to kind of tell you a backstory on a character here and there. Nothing that's nagging too much to the progression of the pacing, but I feel like you don't need to watch the first one. There's similarities, sure. They're based on a series of books.
Do I have to read the books?
No, and I've read the first book. That's
because I don't read.
That's all I know.
Yeah, that's why I had said initially I was so impressed with how well it did, because I don't think that many people know about the Dune universe, and it's doing phenomenal. And they did it in a way that you don't have to, and it's still a fantastic film. Like they did a obviously I haven't seen it, but they've done an impressive.
I have a decision to make tomorrow whether I want to DoorDash or go see Dune.
Fuck me, I guess I don't get to see Dune.
Not seeing Dune.
I guess I'm watching it on HBO alone while I cry myself to sleep.
Number 2 this week, we got a debut film. First week on the top 5.
Oh, what came out? Clifford.
No,
it's not fucking Clifford.
No, it's not.
Shut up, Chris.
Number 2 this week is Clifford the Big Red Dog with 16 million.
Are you serious? He muted.
Fucker.
fucking
No.
bullshit.
Well, it's because it's on 75 screens in a theater.
Are people taking their kids to see this, or are people our age?
A kids movie always breaks into the top 5. It's a guarantee, dude. It could be the worst looking kids movie, obviously, of all time.
What was that? Was that little robot movie? Why didn't that break into the top 5?
The Ron's Gone Wrong.
Yeah.
It was in the top 5 for a while.
Was?
It's number 6 this week now. It's number 6.
Put that back up at 2.
2.1. Ron's Gone.
Your list.
It was
your
great.
List.
Look, Ron's Gone Wrong 10 times better than Clifford.
Clifford is number 2.
16.6 million, 3,700 theaters. Its first week on the countdown, which means 22 million overall. With its 4-day total.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, Clifford didn't really challenge for the top spot when you see what the number 1 is as far as the distance between them. Didn't really challenge for that. But kids movies are always it's a science, dude. If you have a kids film, it's definitely going to debut in the top 5. If it doesn't, you've got a real stinker on your hands. This movie sucked. I'm not going to lie, but
didn't get an F, so it didn't suck that bad.
I know it got a D-. It was close enough.
Still got the D. He gave Rosie Perez the D. You sick fuck.
I like Billy. Would you start with the letter Q? Quince. What is a quince?
Hate her.
And then number 1 for the second straight week is Marvel Eternals with 26,800,000 more after 4,000 theaters, bringing its total to 118 million after 2 weeks.
Wow.
So Marvel still owns the game. Looking at the releases this week, 2 out of the 3 are going to be on Netflix. So I think you're going to have problems when it comes to Will Smith's King Richard.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're going to have problems when it comes to a movie called Tick, Tick, Boom, starring Andrew Garfield. It's kind of a musical. But the one that I'm kind of thinking might challenge Eternals is Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
26 million was this week for Eternals. So I feel like it's probably going to make somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 million probably next week. 20 million would be easy for the Ghostbusters to make, I feel, especially because it's a kids movie. So now it appeals to a wider audience. So you're buying more tickets.
And you got the world's sexiest man,
Paul Rudd. That's right. Paul Rudd.
My friend Carrie, she posted this picture today. Carrie Coon. Well, I had friends pushing it too far.
Yeah, I can't believe.
I need to get her on somehow.
Carrie Coon is a great actress too, man. Yeah, I always I
got to get her on.
She was great in Gone Girl. She's done a couple of really good movies. There's one I can't remember what it was called. It's the.
She's so nice. I got to convince her.
Her and Jude Law.
Chris, I put it on you.
What?
You got to convince her with your movie knowledge.
Okay. Well, give me her email
and
I'll
give you her info.
Be happy to. So that's the top 5. Just like I said, looking ahead, look for Ghostbusters to make an impact this week. Other than that, I don't think, because of Netflix, I don't think King Richard is going to. It might maybe crack the top 5, maybe at 5 or 4. I can't see it doing more than that. I feel like Netflix is going to take too much away. But yeah, Ghostbusters there, and then we've got the Thanksgiving week movies coming after that.
When are you seeing Ghostbusters?
Thursday.
In the theater?
Yeah.
This Thursday?
Yeah.
It's out this Thursday?
Yeah. Thursday. It was looking like Wednesdays they're doing the early screenings, but Canton didn't get one. Valley View did, and I'm not going to drive that far to go see the early screening. So they offered me 2 tickets too, but I'm not going that fucking far.
I didn't know it was out this week.
Yeah.
I need to see that.
And I know you said it was fan driven, like
fan centric.
Well, it was
the terminology?
A lot of fan service. Yeah, there's a lot of. So you watch the trailers, and it's
So I like the way with the trailers. I like the way they did like the post Ghostbusters look with the kids, and I liked the way they're
like
kind
25
of
years after.
Yeah. So I think it's a different line of monsters.
Let's look on the bright side. It can't be worse than the Ghostbusters that came out like 5 years ago.
Yeah, let's not talk about that one. I haven't even watched it.
I never watched. I refuse.
I watched it. It was
the all women one, right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm just saying that it was a cast of all women.
Stay woke.
I mean, whether you decipher from that that's why it sucked or not has nothing to do with my opinion.
It has nothing to do with them being women. That movie sucks.
It just, This one looks great. I mean, the trailers look great.
Yeah.
I know you're in part. I'm curious to see your thoughts on this. I got to see that.
Tune in Thursday. But that's it for Hollywood Report.
We gotta do sports?
No.
Yes.
Let's do sports with Dan Sandmann.
Line to deep left field. It is 45-40. Lions touchdown. 50.
Fuck off.
Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the
This fucking
This
guy.
is locker room.
You win one game and all of a sudden you got to talk shit.
All right, ready?
No, because my
Sports
team
with
sucked
Dan
last week.
Sandmann. Browns suck. Steelers are okay. Cowboys, yeah, you know what? Whatever.
Fuck those guys.
I'm not gonna get any love after that last.
Let's
There'll
talk
be a disappointment in the
sports.
playoffs.
Oh, well, then you know us. You've seen us then.
I hope Seattle sucks. I hope fucking
Seattle
Cowboys suck.
Oh, the Mariners, you mean?
I hope the Phoenix sucks.
Good call.
Hope they all fucking go down in a blazing glory.
Who's my college football?
I don't
Notre
fucking know.
Dame?
Someone
Ah, you got it.
no
Who's my
one-
college basketball?
No one worthwhile.
Florida,
Nope.
Duke,
Nope. Hell
North
no.
Carolina.
Fuck no.
They all go down in a blaze of fire.
Jesus.
Sports.
What is your
Kentucky.
Kentucky? Yeah,
Cowboys are back. You had a good week.
Cowboys.
Feel good about
crushed
it?
I mean, here's the thing. Atlanta has one of the worst defenses in all the NFL. We should have put up 40 points on this
Yeah.
team. So it makes sense. Here's what surprised me, though. Their offense is a solid offense.
Yeah.
That is what 3 points. That's a testament to our defense. I'm more impressed with our defense in this game
Yeah.
than I was our offense.
I agree.
Three turnovers, one including to Trayvon Diggs' 8th interception of the year, leads the NFL in interceptions. Defensive player of the year.
Yeah. I thought you guys played a solid game. You and the Browns flopped week over week. So Browns played incredible last week with the first game without OBJ. You guys had a rough last week. And then this week, the scores were almost identical, but on opposite sides of the win category.
45-7.
Browns got shit stomped by Belichick. And statistically, they're not different. They were tied rank-wise going into this. Did either of you watch the Browns?
Yes.
I know you were out, right?
I was
Or did you watch
watching.
the
I was
Browns game?
watching the first half.
Takeaways?
They looked awful.
Yeah, but I guess my thing is week over week. I mean, do we think last week they came off that hype? It proved something. OBJ's not here. We don't need him. That typical, I think that they have this small confidence boost, but they're never consistent. Week over week, what was the huge difference that they did this? I mean, it wasn't oh, we're playing the Pats. They're so much better than us. We know they're going to dominate.
Well,
It's a pretty even-keeled team.
Belichick crushes the Browns every time he plays them.
Belichick is a great coach, but come on.
My man got it.
This bad.
Bill Belichick, here's a man that does not get enough credit when
He's
it comes
fantastic.
to the legendary status of the Patriots during that dynasty era. So it's always Tom Brady, especially on this
Tom
show.
Brady's great, but
Especially a man who sits in that chair gives Tom Brady respect, does not give Bill Belichick respect. And Bill Belichick is a man who prepares for his opponents endlessly, better than any coach in the NFL.
So this is a Browns breakdown or a Belichick success?
I think it's a little bit of both
It's
because
both,
for me,
for
in
sure.
addition to what Dan said, Dan stole my number 1 point. That was number one without a doubt. It was Belichick saw this game. He saw their game plan. How else could you say that he holds an offense like theirs with so much talent, even without OBJ, to 7 points?
Yeah.
Patriots don't have a great defense. They have a mediocre
But
defense.
to that point, look at their record for the year. They're not dominating.
No, they're 6-4.
So I mean, what was it about the Browns had to have fallen?
he got a
apart.
rookie quarterback. He was still learning the system.
Yeah.
So
Baker
but-
was in for 2/3 of the game.
if you're blaming the Browns a lot of this, it's more of the inconsistencies with the defense that we've continued to see on and off the field. I feel like their defensive coordinator, his job should be on the hot spot this year.
Is Patriots defense real good?
No.
So what happened with Baker
It's a
then?
top 15 at best.
He thought OBJ
So what
was
happened
still
with
playing.
Baker?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he
the
shit the
Browns should have
bed.
scored at least 20 points.
That's
in this game.
that's my point.
If you'd scored 20 points and lost 45-22 or 21 or something like that,
Okay.
fine, whatever. But
okay.
But to lose 45-7, it shows me that Belichick came prepared. He saw everything that the Browns were doing. There's nothing they gave him that fooled him even for a second. And the defense looked terrible. Baker did not look good at all.
Breakdown by Stefanski. Do you think Stefanski still holds the title of Coach of the Year?
No, not even close.
He had it last year, but
Yeah, last year for
Yeah,
sure.
but I mean, this year is a complete disappointment.
Yeah, no, I can't say this year. I would honestly say, Mike Vrabel, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I feel like
Look at the turnaround season they've
to
had.
lose Derrick Henry, their MVP, obviously the MVP of the NFL, maybe too, and they're still doing it.
Baker was in long enough in this game that I don't put it to him being injured that they lost as bad as they did. He was in enough of the game that they could have been successful. So at that point, you got to take into account play calling, coaching. What was Stefanski not prepared? Did they go in too confident because of last week? I mean, they just played awful.
I think it's too much. I think for Stefanski to be the play caller too, like that's a lot of the job of the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And for Stefanski to do that and to helm the team and all this,
Kitchens move.
I think it is very much a Kitchens move. And I feel like it's too much, even for a guy as great as Stefanski, far better coach than Kitchens, but like it's too much for him. This would be great for somebody like Belichick, not for a Stefanski, not yet. So I feel like they need the coordinator to do his job, which is also a problem too. They're having problems with their own offensive coordinator. Yeah. So I feel like they have no faith in him. Therein lies. It's showing on the field. And what you're getting is a team right now that 1 week they'll show up and they'll score 30 plus points. The next week they'll show up and they'll barely score 10. Yeah. So this isn't going to do them any favors. They have an easy schedule down the stretch, which is the one thing I can say positively for Browns fans. But have they done anything in the last 5 weeks that makes you think they're going to win all these games? No problem necessary.
Where do you think they finish in the division?
So originally I had said 12 and 5 was my prediction at the preseason. Looking at it now, they're what, 5 and 5?
5 and 5. Gotta win out.
And that schedule,
it's tough.
I would say 9 and 8.
What do you think? Second, third?
Third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steelers fourth.
Yeah.
Watch your tongue.
Yes. Yes, because we'll get to that in a second.
That's fine. Dan, what were your thoughts on the game? Anything that you picked out or you saw?
From what I saw, the first half, Baker looked like shit. Yeah. His accuracy was awful. Thrown into double coverage like that first intercept. Oh my! Like, what are you seeing? Because I don't see a Browns player there. I see 2 Patriots players there, and you threw it right to him.
And it was tight. That coverage was very, like, they had him. There's no way. Like, even DK Metcalf, the tallest receiver, couldn't have caught that ball.
He underthrew it.
Yeah.
Big time. Like, his accuracy was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that great.
So, you said you love.
So here's the thing. I like, because I always get a lot of shit because I talk crap about the Browns because it's fun. But I like Baker as a person, mainly because his wife's hot. But look, I do like his personality. I do like his energy. I do like that he commands ownership of his actions. He comes out as a quarterback should, and he takes ownership over flaws or losses. And he says, we got to do better, whatever. I know we played bad. At that point, him and Stefanski got to work together to devise a plan to actually do better and not just keep talking about it. But I don't hate on Baker. He's just not. He's the best quarterback that the Browns have had in a long time, but he's not the answer to them being a Super Bowl contending team. He's just not consistent enough. He's still very young.
He's not elite.
Yeah, he lets the pressures of the game get to him to the point that I think where we were saying with him feeling pressure to throw to Odell, which I still think was a factor. He I don't know if it's his quarterback intelligence or analyzing the field and the quickness he has for reacting, but like Dan said, some of those plays he's throwing that ball into clear coverage. What are you doing at that point?
Yeah. So here's the thing with him is he's like we've talked about it before. He's not a deep ball quarterback.
Right. No.
And his stats 11 of 21, 73 yards.
He had the same
3.5 yards per pass.
Did you say he had worse stats than Rudolph?
3
He did.
Sent him to the island of misfit toys.
He did. Sadly,
passing yards to be a 3.5 average is ridiculous. Your dump off passes.
That's stinking.
That was the Steelers last year.
Well, that's all the shit.
Garbage.
That's all the shit that someone that sits in that chair sometimes has to say about Ben. Oh, Ben can only throw like 7, 8 yards. Well, same with Baker. Baker can't throw a long ball.
He's not a long ball. He'll get lucky if he gets a long ball completed.
I got something super nice to say about Ben when we get to that topic.
Ooh.
So yeah, he didn't have it. Hell, Case Keenum, 81 yards.
Yeah. He just hasn't been consistent.
Threw the ball half amount.
The team as a whole is not consistent. Baker will go out and play a decent game. The defense or offense will play a decent game. They'll get a win, and then they'll shit the bed.
Yeah.
It's nothing against the Browns as a team. It's just that they're just not. Last year was some weird fluke, man. They're not that.
It was a COVID year. It was a strange year
over year drastically with their lineup that they should be playing this awful.
Yeah, I think, and the thing is too, like, as to where a loss this bad, you would look at it and your first impression would go, well, how much did they pressure Baker Mayfield? That defensive line had to come roaring for him. Right. They didn't. They had one sack the whole game. They had 5 sacks?
5 sacks.
Did they really have 5 sacks? I stand corrected.
I didn't know that.
I stand corrected. I did not see those 5 sacks.
Was all on Baker or if
from what I saw,
Baker was sacked twice.
Okay, so 2.
Keenum was sacked 3 times.
From what I saw, he had time to throw that ball a lot though. Like a lot of those passes, that double coverage one, he had time to throw that ball.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting pressured, there's no excuse for these things.
Yeah. Which brings us to the Steelers. Before we get into the game itself, I want to talk about the Browns-Steelers rivalry. Mainly the Browns fans when it comes to the Browns-Steelers rivalry. Look, part of the rivalry is talking shit. And I don't know what it is that the second a Steelers fan posts anything about the Browns, that they get so butthurt over it.
You got nailed.
This is a rivalry. Like this is like one of the longest standing sports rivalries in history.
They'll give it to you, but they won't take it.
I'm like, look, it's all fun and games. No one has any connection to these teams. It doesn't mean shit at the end of the day. I'm going to talk shit about the Browns and I'll take it as a Steelers fan. Mm-hmm. I don't understand when that happened. It's been more recent than not. Whereas you just can't, and it's not one person in particular, it's just Browns as a whole. The second you say anything, they are so upset.
Sweetie, they thought they had a winner. I mean, come on. God. Like, Sweetie, the realization when you wake up and you go like, man, everybody was right. This sucks, man.
Is rivalry not a thing anymore? Are we not allowed to have banter and talk crap about each other? Is that not where we're at?
You are, but it's just so tender after they had expectations.
That's the bullshit response you get. Well, you don't know what it's like to be a Browns fan. And you think for once you actually have hope and then it falls apart. Well, I'm sorry that you fucking have a team. I mean, I'm going to tell you.
I've seen the posts, and it's when the Browns are doing bad, quiet.
Yep.
And the Steelers are doing good, quiet.
That is exactly it.
Yep.
And then flip it.
Yep.
Steelers lose Monday night, or they win Monday night because of the zebras on the field.
Right.
And then
I liked your comment, your status on that too.
They blow you up.
Yeah.
Even though a win's a win, right?
Of course.
I wouldn't give a shit if the referees were helping Dallas. I would take every victory.
Absolutely.
So would I.
It's not their job to analyze that.
I don't care if they come down, put a cowboy jersey on and run down the field themselves.
We said it. Don't put it in the referee's hands. You blow them out.
Yep.
You win those games.
Yep.
And like there's no catching up for the Browns and that Patriots game, but it was quiet.
Yep. No, they say nothing.
Super quiet.
Yep.
Now,
but if they would have been winning that game, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, fucking Steelers, look at us showing out, doing this." My thing, I'm consistent. I talk shit regardless. The Steelers were losing. I'm talking shit. I don't care. It's fun to talk shit. It is what it is. It makes football fun.
And then you even said your team was playing like putrid when they were tied with the worst team in football.
I'm not delusional.
Yeah,
it was an awful game.
I didn't watch any of it, and I'm glad I didn't.
We talk about it. It was embarrassing. One, me and Dan talked about this the other night. There shouldn't be ties in professional sports. It's embarrassing.
Not in football.
Not in football.
Soccer, yeah.
Okay, they should have worked this out. In this game, you watched it, or just from my highlights?
I caught the overtime because my game. So I think it went from the Browns to that, and they covered their overtime period a little bit. So I watched the overtime.
Oh, dude, I was looking at the freaking like the play-by-play in the overtime.
It's embarrassing.
And what the.
It was an awful. I would have rather lost because the game was so embarrassing. I mean, granted, we had Rudolph going in, which I had no expectation of Rudolph. He's played 3 games, 4 games in the last couple of years.
Watt went out.
Watt was out.
TJ Watt went out.
Did he got injured in that game?
Yeah, hurt his knee
or ankle.
So here's what sucks about what you just said about how you'd rather it be a loss. At least with a loss, there's some reason for the game. When it's a tie, there's no point for that game whatsoever.
Exactly.
So now that loss of one of the best defensive players in the game is now for nothing.
He's okay. They had X-rays and they came back negative. So
okay, so maybe
he might be out a week. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had no high expectations. I mean, even with Rudolph, we should have beat the Lions.
I agree.
The game was awful.
Goff is the worst starting quarterback in football.
Interception, fumble, missed field goal by the Lions at the end.
How do you let them run for over 200 yards on it? Like that? Steelers pride themselves on their run stoppage. Their defense.
Yeah.
Well, I will say their pass defense isn't the greatest, but they stepped up and took care of Goff. Like he passed for shit.
I think he had barely over 100 yards.
Yeah,
but
they had over
awful,
200 yards of rushing.
Yeah.
And that, for one, you need to balance your defense a little bit more.
Yeah.
If you expected them to pass and they ran all over you, which is, I think that's what happened.
Must have.
Do you think they went into this game thinking there's no way we're lose to the Lions, and they just went in with not much preparation?
The Steelers are like they're primed for playing down. No offense to the Lions, but playing down to their opponents.
Yeah,
they should come out and smoke these guys. And for the Lions, they have nothing to play for. They're out there just trying to have a good time, and we win. Great.
Yeah. If
we lose, hey, we've been losing all season. What's the big deal?
With the coach as tenured and seasoned as Tomlin, it's not excusable. I mean, if I'm gonna talk,
there's a lot of sloppy play, like in general. Like he can't. But you also set if I'm gonna talk shit about Stefanski, I mean, I'm gonna be equal to the Steelers. You know, I'm okay with saying when we play bad, and you go into this game prepared. They're not a great team. Steelers aren't great right now. We know that. But you're going against an 0-8 team, and you're telling me we can't even we fucking tie them? You got to set that Rudolph
standard. Mason's not great, but he's the only person for the most part that was swapped out week over week. We had the rest of our main team playing. I mean, Watt got hurt, but he was in the game. He didn't get hurt until later on. Tomlin should have been. I don't know. You got to set a standard here.
What a great transition into what I'm going to say.
Oh, great.
At 39 years old, Ben Roethlisberger still does not get the credit that he deserves.
Cool.
If there's ever a game where Ben's value can be felt the loudest, I'm just saying, and I speak honesty. If it's the Browns, I do it for Jesse all the time, but I'm speaking honesty here. So
you are honest. The Browns suck, and you voice it a lot.
Games like these where Ben doesn't play are more important to me than games where he does play.
Agreed.
Because you see just what's left. You see the bare bones, how little meat there is left on this team of inspiration. So when you have a guy like Ben Roethlisberger, who, granted, no matter how you feel about the Steelers, if you feel like they're trash with him, you go, well, I look at Detroit and I go, he's going to beat them by 10.
Yeah.
It's Ben Roethlisberger. His presence was missed severely here. Rudolph is a bum. We can all agree with that.
Yep.
Ben Roethlisberger, even at 39, does not get the credit that he deserves.
It just shows you that with that team, how much he commands that team, how much management he has over that team.
Yes. This was their worst offensive performance of the year. Now, granted, that's by a second string quarterback, but that should tell you right there. The drop is from this to this.
Yep.
It's bad.
He gets shit all over. He's washed up. They should have moved on, this, that, and the other thing, which I do think that his time is coming. I've been vocal about that. They need to have a plan after Ben, and they haven't been great about that. But if you look at their record with him, like your point, I mean, he's still carrying that team.
Ben plays you win this game.
Yeah.
There's no argument on that.
He was in there.
There's no argument.
No questions asked.
He could have the worst game of his life. He still throws better than Jared Goff.
Absolutely. It was embarrassing.
They're down Chase Claypool too, one of their targets.
That's true.
That's true.
But that Rudolph could have thrown it to him anyways. But but he did play better than Baker.
I'm wondering, like,
that's sad, man.
I'm just saying, stat wise, he had a better completion rating.
There's still Haskins behind Rudolph.
I don't know why they didn't go that route.
Throw him in there.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you gotta
quarter three, mid quarter three, when they're doing awful, throw Haskins.
Can't move the ball.
Yep.
Now,
but that's on coach. That's what I'm saying. Like, I put some of this on Tom.
Well, you don't want to like give up on your guy. That was the whole.
He knows it.
The Hodges thing
Tom
last year.
Knows he sucks. You saw my comment in the private chat.
Yeah, I did.
We won't talk about it, but
dude, and like watching that game. So like now I want to look at it from a Detroit fan's perspective, and one of our listeners will definitely appreciate this.
I like you, but I'm sorry that you're a Detroit fan.
The field goal that they had in the overtime chance that they had to win,
bro.
It was a 43-yard chip shot.
Did it come up short?
It was awful,
dude.
It was awful.
To say it came up short, that's like
and again,
my grandma could have kicked this field goal better than this guy
did. Get touched.
I honestly think they meant to miss that.
I said
goal.
that,
and you said that. Yes, I will give you credit. Watching this thing back 3 or 4 times,
they wanted to lose.
I think they wanted to lose. Like I'm not saying that against the Steelers.
Nope.
I'm saying I think
agree.
Detroit is tanking for that number 1 pick.
Yep.
Bad.
I agree.
That kick was so obvious. I could have kicked that further.
Yep. Which makes, here's the thing that makes it look even worse for the Steelers is I truly believe that the Lions were tanking and we still couldn't beat them. That's awful. It was a fucking shit show of a game. And if we don't come back next week and do something,
Who you got?
We've got a rough season anyways. But I mean, we got to just play better than this week.
Mm-hmm.
End of our season is going to be tough. And I thought this was a guarantee. Now my 9 and 8. The Lions was an absolute need.
We didn't want to put a 1 in there.
That was one of your 3 like.
That was my guarantee.
That was one of your 3 guarantees.
Lose to the fucking 0-8 Lions.
Yeah,
that fucked me.
I wouldn't have picked that. Even with Rudolph, I'd have said they win by maybe 7.
We had plenty of opportunities in the 4th and overtime to win that game.
Sunday night,
and we fucked it up.
Who are you playing?
Chargers.
It's gonna be tough.
Now, here's the thing: Chargers don't have a good defense.
No, if Ben's back, we have a chance.
Ben will be back.
Yeah,
but
if Ben's back, we have a chance. But it's not going to be easy. Like the Detroit game should have been a guaranteed win.
Your defense has to win that game.
Herbert's crushing it.
He's crushing it, but their defense is horrible.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It sucks. It just sucks.
I want to say something before we go to the next topic, though. One guy held on faith for those Kansas City Chiefs, and they are now back at first place in the AFC West. They are 3rd in the AFC playoff picture and only getting hotter. And they play the Dallas Cowboys next.
And they're gonna get spanked.
God, I fucking hope so, but I'm so scared of this game because Patrick Mahomes.
He's a bum.
No fucking way.
He's a bum like Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant is a bum. Patrick Mahomes is not.
I don't like him. I hope they lose. I'm still going Bills. So
I will say one thing real quick.
You say one thing.
Packers Seahawks played Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was it Sunday?
That was barely a game.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, the 2 guys that we were talking about being MVP / like Seattle being
awful
competitive. Yeah. 0 touchdowns between the 2.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, Aaron. So here's the thing here, and let's throw the excuses out there. Aaron Rodgers is recovering from COVID. Russell Wilson is recovering from his injury, and he got rushed out there far too quickly. And Sunday showed that.
0 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
3 interceptions.
Wasn't on the thing. We'll touch on it just very quickly.
All right.
Rams, San Francisco.
From
OBJ's first game show out.
Yeesh. Yeah.
You got
2 catches
LA
for 18
team
yards.
that was looking great all season. Man, you imagine that you add OBJ to the fucking thing. It should have been a for sure win and they blow it.
And with Robert Woods out, who is their 2nd best receiver. So it opens the door for OBJ to come right in there and compliment Cooper Kupp.
And what the fuck happened?
Yeah. The Niners.
I mean, they didn't even just lose by like a field goal. They got dominated pretty well. I think it was like a 20-point spread.
31-10.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
31-10. Yeah.
I mean, yikes.
Yeah. I watched I watched the second half of this game because it had fantasy implications. I almost blew that game last night.
Yeah.
But I was watching it and I was saying to myself, I'm like, there's not even an attempt to run a route for OBJ.
Yeah.
To me, I've never been a big fan of Matthew Stafford to begin with. I feel like he's highly overrated. But I feel like he can still throw the long ball. And the fact is, looking at their playbook in that second half, they didn't even attempt to get it out to him. I think all of his targets were in the first half.
How long is he? What was his deal with them? Do you know? With details of his deal with the Rams?
No, I just know that obviously Cleveland is paying it out. He's living on club money, being with LA. He wanted to go to a contender. So basically it was his choice. The 3 teams that were rumored was LA, New Orleans, and Green Bay were the 3 teams that were up for discussion. I'm so surprised he didn't go to Green Bay.
Yeah, I would have thought Green Bay over the Rams. The Rams aren't necessarily not a contender, but I don't think that they're up there right yet.
Oh my God, I'm so glad he went to LA because if he would have went to Green Bay, oh God.
He went to LA to be with LBJ.
The weather.
Yeah, he wanted to get out of fucking Cleveland, Ohio, and go somewhere nice where he can party it up and
Green Bay.
Yeah, he's a diva, and I mean,
no, he's not, Chris.
It is. He is a very much diva.
Not a diva.
And basically, that's what happened. So they've got some growing pains to go through, especially with Robert Woods out for the year. Cooper Kupp's good, but he's not good enough to carry a whole offense.
Two more. We'll go with Cam first because we're talking NFL at this point.
Yeah,
he's back. What was that stat you showed us? Cam is being paid to replace his replacement.
Yeah.
Or something.
So like the Carolina Panthers right now are paying Cam Newton's replacement. They're paying the replacement of Cam Newton's replacement, and they're paying Cam Newton,
who's the replacement of his replacement.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Browns thing.
That is wild, bro. The amount of money that they've got to be outed right now.
Salary.
Two different GMs. Lovely.
What do they see in this guy that you keep bringing him back?
So I understand you have to go for somebody because Darnold's obviously out for a long-term period, but like there's better guys.
He hasn't been the guy though. He's proven that.
Yeah. And they got lucky on Sunday because Kyler Murray was injured for Arizona. So they basically had no offense. They're going to get tested in a game and they're going to get punched right in the mouth.
Bro, I don't know. And for him to keep going back, like my pride would be hurt at that point. You keep letting me go. I'm not coming back.
Wasn't he in New England for a little bit?
Yeah. For a cup of coffee.
Briefly.
Yeah. For a cup of coffee. He was in New England, didn't do anything. And then Mac Jones, they drafted him and he ended up being their boy.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for him, it's just a paycheck. I'm sure he don't give a shit, but like, what a slap in the face.
Next Michael Vick.
Oof.
Oh, Vic's better.
I would say Vic's more talented.
I think Vic's better. Yeah.
Absolutely. Vic was great.
But yeah, I don't know. It's obviously it's a feel good story because he's back in Carolina.
Is it a feel good story?
But it is for Carolina fans. Because they
can pull out their old jerseys and wear them again.
Yeah, no, they look good. Yay. But for me, like it's not going to get them anywhere. They're not going to get back in the playoffs. They're in the same division as Tampa Bay and New Orleans, who are over exceeding for a third string quarterback.
What did they put him on? Like a 1 year? Contract?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they only need him for this year anyway.
Right.
Like
so they put him on
back.
A quick 1 year, make a couple $1 million deal for him. It's already halfway through the season.
Carolina's a mess, dude. Financially and on the field, they're a mess.
And a state. What a disaster. The last thing that I had was, so we talked maybe 2 weeks ago. Were you on here for the Guardians talk, Dan? Was it one of the episodes you've been back on with? We're talking about Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was the one me and Chris did alone. We talked a couple weeks ago about the dispute between. Oh yeah, you were. We argued for a while.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Guardians, the new Cleveland Indians, and the Cleveland Guardians roller derby team.
Still my engines.
And the three of us were debating on where we stood as far as, will there be a settlement? What's going to happen? Do they sell out? Well, the resolution came, and like Chris alluded to, there'd probably be no details about, which there aren't. But
I'm glad you remembered that.
But oddly enough, they agreed to both go by the same name. The roller derby didn't decide that they were going to change it. Money for sure, but I figured they'd take the payout and then they would just go and do their own name. They're keeping it. I'm wondering if they're banking on maybe being able to sell more merch. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on them deciding to keep the name and not separate themselves? I mean, because it's going to be, you're not going to compete with the fucking baseball team as far as the name goes.
Absolutely.
Anything you search Cleveland Guardians, you're going to find the MLB team. They're going to be overshadowed.
They don't have 1/10 of their fan base.
No,
right.
Not even close.
1/50th of their fan base.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean, we don't know the details. Sure. I'm sure they got a paycheck, but it's just thoughts on is the fact that they are just continuing to go on both using the name. And wait, is that what if it was you, would you have done that?
The baseball team definitely wanted that name.
No, absolutely.
Sure. No, Matt, that's not even an argument. Like, obviously they wanted it. So,
but the Derby team,
they pay what?
But the Derby team, would you go on and keep your name the same, or would you change it at this point?
I would keep it the same because it's our heritage ultimately. Like it was ours before it was theirs.
Brand and everything.
Yeah, I mean, shit, we didn't offend America. You know, it was our name first. But yeah, the baseball team wanted the name, obviously. Now, whatever the undisclosed figure is, we'll never know what that is. Obviously, they paid enough to get it, and they cared enough to pay to get it in the first place. Hopefully, this deal was advantageous for the roller derby team. I'm going to be the one that actually kind of sticks up for them and say, like, it was their name. So hopefully they got what they wanted out of it because they're damn sure not getting fans. So, you know, hopefully they got some money for their team. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of what I expected was going to happen. I expected they were still going to be the Guardians. A lot of people expected they would rebrand their name to something entirely different. That merchandise is already printed, dude. They just haven't sold it yet. They legally can't sell it until they earn the right.
Talking about the baseball team?
All
Yeah.
of the
Oh yeah, I didn't think the baseball team was changing at all.
Yeah,
But I
core-
thought the roller derby would.
all this the progressive field stuff has been purchased.
Oh yeah, it's all out.
You know, it's those deals have been made. So the baseball team was definitely going to keep the name.
they're not going anywhere. If it took 10 million, 15 million, 20 million.
So I actually read a story. Well, I didn't read it. I just read the headline. So I don't read.
I like the pictures.
Dan, a perfect example of what's wrong with our news. Catchy headline.
The cost to change everything at Progressive Field, $2.1 million.
Just to remove signs and
signage
shit.
and everything.
Oh,
2.1 million.
2.1 million to do the rehab, the refurb of Progressive Field to represent the Guardians name.
I want a whistleblower
'Cause I was
to come
up in-
out and say what the roller derby got. I want to know how much money they got.
I was
man.
up at Cleveland
don't think
on
you'll ever find
Sunday,
out.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Same day.
sometime.
Yeah, I was up there, and the Indians' name
It's gone.
beneath the Progressive Field sign is gone.
and the thing is, sitting from where you sit in like the first base or the third base, it looks big, but it doesn't look that gargantuan. For
It's
those guys taking that off there,
huge.
Well, those signs are
massive,
giant, dude.
massive. Yeah.
Just the that Indians logo beneath the Progressive, not what sits above the bill or the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And below the Progressive Field sign.
Still the
That
Cleveland
gone.
Jacob Indians to me.
What?
Yeah, I still call it Jacobs Field. So
Fucking
I'm looked at as an idiot. That's so weird to me though. Like when you look at that, the next time you go back there, all memory of this team,
It's gone.
It's
It's
gone.
erased.
There's
Yeah.
nothing there. Like you'll probably see some smart ass who wears his Indian shirt or his hat or something like
Nothing.
that.
Nothing.
Dude,
no
remember
more
the
Indian
95,
related stuff. No face paint
97?
or anything's allowed now.
Chief Wahoo with the countdown to the pennant and everything. Like
Yeah.
seeing that gone.
Chris, haven't you been around to understand that these people are just trying to erase our history? Everything. Just trying to get rid of it. Starting with our baseball teams.
It's not racist. It just bothers people.
So what do you think? What do you think
Madison impression.
what do you think the trickle down effect to like high school teams and stuff's going to be?
Cleveland, Copley Indians. That's where I went to school.
I know
That's a
that's
good
one
one.
that I was one. Like, are they gonna
They changed east.
Yep.
That was Orientals.
Orientals?
It's Dragons.
The Orientals.
Yeah. Yeah, it was East Orientals.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was only like 5 years ago.
know that.
It was East Orientals, and now it's Dragons.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that one got changed.
Yeah. Yep.
And they They made it an Oriental dragon now instead.
It's just Dragons.
Is it going back?
Is it you? So your question is, do you? It's cool. I'm taking it back.
Going back?
I don't know. High school.
I don't think they have the same. They're not. The spotlight isn't on them as much that it makes a big deal. I honestly think.
But
these,
is it starting a precedent? That's what I'm saying.
I think
Like,
these major league teams
with
are just under attack, honestly, by just for
Washington
for a
football
purpose.
team,
Yeah.
Cleveland Indians now.
What about the Braves? What do you
You got
got?
the Braves. Yeah.
Blackhawks, Braves, Redskins.
That's gone.
Yeah. Redskins gone. It's a football team. But I mean, I think the professional teams are going to get pressured where I think it's not going to follow through. Like the Braves will never be changed because it's in the South. They just don't give a fuck, man. Now, every team that's been changed.
But what if the MLB comes out? Because that's what was happening with some of these teams is the franchises as a whole were taking a stand and saying you got to change your name.
The thing with a lot of these, though, is that the MLB, when it comes to that, a league has to buy that name out too.
Yeah.
So like they have a licensing right to that name. So they're the Braves for, we'll say 10 years or whatever. And then they rebrand that name again after that. You have to buy us out for the rest of that contract above everything else. And you better believe the Braves are going to sock on an extra 0 or 2 when
Big
it comes
money.
to, if you're going to, because they're known as the Braves is their big thing. That's one of the most legendary franchises in all of baseball. It was the Boston Braves, then it became the Atlanta Braves. So you better come prepared. That's going to be a fight that's bigger than the Indians one. I don't see it happening personally.
I think going Block C, like getting rid of Chief Wahoo was just the start. Like I knew it was going to come that
Well,
the Indians were going to go
they
away,
relented.
but
Yeah.
they gave in and they're like, well, you know, we got
Give an
to
inch, get a mile.
give an inch, take a mile.
Yep.
Yeah. I it's unfortunate that that's how like history is going.
Yeah.
let's wipe it off. It never happened. That's what in 50 years, people aren't going to know what our history was because they're rewriting it. They're trying to rewrite it.
I've always conveyed it to my own team. So like, I've got a favorite team in every league, but the Cowboys are my favorite team overall. Like I'm a Cowboy fan, thick and thin, like no matter what. So I always look at it and I go like, what if the Cowboys woke up tomorrow and they said, we're changing our name. We're no longer the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Would I care? Would I quit being a fan of the team? I honestly wouldn't. It would just be whatever they were. If they were the Dallas Rattlesnakes from now on,
you don't choose the name based on, you don't choose the team you follow based on their name.
It's my history with
the history of the franchise.
Exactly.
And that doesn't change. It's not licensed to a series of, names and t-shirts. It's more the memories and everything that came with it. And that doesn't change no matter what they would like to take from it.
Yeah.
That's never going to change. I remember when I was a kid and they won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. And I remember the first game I ever did, which I told a person on my Facebook the other day, October 15th, 1989.
Wow.
You read that comment. I remember everything about this team and I could not give that team up tomorrow. Mariners, Suns. Yeah, there's a possibility. I'd probably just go, I just don't want to do it anymore. Cowboys, it would never happen.
I don't love it. I don't love the idea of it changing because it's what we know. But the whole erasing our history, I think that is a far stretch because history is exactly that. It's something that's in the past, and they're not taking away any championships they had or pennants they have. You can still read about the Cleveland Indians, and that history of that team is still a part of it. Just
which
like
makes it all stranger,
right? It's the history is there. Right. It's just this is us going forward. I think for a lot of us, speaking from my own point of view, it's hard for us to understand it just because we don't align with the demographic that is offended by the name.
Yeah.
So we don't get how that name is offensive and why it's to the point of enough to make the team change their name. Because to me, I think Indians, I don't think anything offensive about that.
I don't either. Right.
But none of us are Native American.
Yeah.
We didn't have our land stripped away from us. I mean, this demographic of people, I don't want to say grudge. I think grudge is the wrong word, but I'm sure I've had anger and felt deceitful and stuff towards any kind of white culture that stripped them of their history and their lifestyle. So it might be just a stick it to the man just to show you we can. And now is the time more than anywhere it's possible with where we're at, with everything.
The sympathetic world that we're in.
Exactly where we've kind of gotten. So, if you're in that position, if you're in a minority group or something and you want to say, fuck you, you have the ability right now that you'll win.
Better than ever.
Yeah. So whether they're truly offended by the name in itself, who knows? But we don't know how to feel about it because we're not there. We've talked about this on here. God, it's got to have been many episodes ago. Like, what would be the stereotype that would offend us about like being Caucasian man, and there's nothing really.
Honkies even. I would probably just laugh at it.
Well, someone made the Caucasians Chief Wahoo with a white dude. Like, I'm not offended by it.
I would laugh.
Yeah, but there's nothing really in our direct history to feel offended about.
The Chief Wahoo thing, like I understand
the cartoon
because it's a caricature. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a fun caricature, but but
you're emphasizing their features in maybe a way that they don't.
I understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. I get
changing the name.
I would have been cool. Like keep the name and just have a feather or something instead of the Chief Wahoo.
Yeah.
I don't know. To your point though, I don't
do it. Is Tribe offensive?
Nothing.
I said Cleveland Tribe was the name that I would use. Yeah, because to me, I'm like, how can that be that?
You
bad?
Got Chiefs.
Yeah.
No,
I think
they're not claiming that's offensive.
Yeah.
Tribe, it's a group of people. You're bringing them together. I think that would have been.
That's where I was kind of making the point where I think it's kind of they don't want white culture profiting off of their likeliness in any sort of way, and they associate tribe to Native Americans, and they're like, no, we're not going to be okay with it.
That is not fair. A tribe can be a lot of things, though.
It can, but you also have to take into the context of going from a name, the Indians, and then changing to tribe, which is really closely affiliated.
Oh, sure,
with Indians,
with the history of the team.
We can try and sell it. Oh, tribe's anything, but when you change from an Indian Native American based team and then trying to switch to something so closely related, they're gonna say, "Fuck."
We like a tribe called Quest. Okay.
So now we're gonna be called the Guardians. That protect the transportation boulevard or the
That's right. Statues.
that bridge.
Statues.
I think that there's a lot of cool things they can do with it, though. I don't mind the Guardian name. I think Spiders would have been cool.
Except it was associated with the worst team in baseball history.
I think Guardians is cool just because, I mean, we're talking Major League Baseball, big money, and the partnerships that we could do. Like if we did something with Marvel, I mean, it's a far stretch, but just based on the name, there's cool things that you could do with it.
Chris Pratt night.
Let's do it, man. He can throw out the first pitch.
He's hilarious.
He can be our new logo. He can be our spoke. I'm there for it.
He's charismatic.
He could be the announcer. He could be the voice of the Guardians.
I'm all about it. Sign him the fuck up.
First base. He can play first, second, third.
The new Tom Hamilton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
dude,
man.
Dude, fucking punch me, knock me out of my seat, and fucking take my seat, dude.
Let's do it.
That'd be
He
cool.
hit the game-winning home run, man.
Fuck my wife.
Hey, I could say my wife fuck Chris Pratt. Why not? He'll even voice you during sex. He's so good at that. Sound just like you. She'll never know.
Wow, I'm really going overboard with old Chris Pratt. Holy shit.
Anyhow. Yeah, but that's it. That's all we got. Anything else?
Is that it?
Anything else we give a
How about them Cowboys?
Hey, do we have any travel agent friends on that listen to the show?
I don't know. Hey, if we have any travel agent friends that listen to the show,
help us out with this Disney trip.
We're trying to book a trip to Disney in February. If anybody's got any hookups,
what week you guys going?
Please, I don't know. Whenever you're available.
Well, I'm on vacation the week after the Super Bowl.
It's February.
We're going
17th.
like the weekend of President's Day, 21st, 17th, 21st.
17th.
Yeah, 17th is that week. Yeah, it's because the 14th is the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, is it?
Ooh, buddy.
See, I'm out of that now. Not having to deal with Super Bowl pop ads and stuff like that.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't have to worry. I can enjoy.
Well, that's why I'm taking that week. I just want to get drunk at the Super Bowl party.
I can enjoy holidays now, guys.
Yeah,
ooh, buddy.
Until I get a job.
If you're a travel agent and you want to sponsor the show and have a segment and help me and Dan with the trip, hit my inbox. Otherwise, I don't think anybody's got any time off. We'll be here next week's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out planning our show. Make sure we accommodate for.
I'm leaving Thursday.
Yeah, we'll do it. What we've been doing Tuesdays, which has been seeming to work out well. So we'll be here next week. If you haven't listened to the last show, feedback, love it, share, like, subscribe. I got to get some YouTubes up. I'm behind on YouTubes, but like the page. Our subscribers have been going up on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're almost at 100. It's not. I know people listen like, oh, fucking 100. But I mean, it was like 24.
Yeah, shit. I mean, they must be finding something.
It's been slowly increasing, so almost 100. So I'm not mad
about
them
damn videos up.
I know. I really do. I need to get some more YouTube.
Dude, that's the thing with YouTube, man. You got to be consistent with YouTube.
I was for so long, but then I just did this summer was what killed me.
Yeah.
I just was busy in the summer. I didn't want to fucking edit videos, but I will. I'll get those up. But we really do appreciate you liking, sharing, subscribing. Really sharing the show helps, get us in the Facebook algorithm. Some more people see our stuff. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you on
Smash that like button.
the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate Podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At Jesse Young SI on Twitter. Chris, the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak Review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate Podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.